Hi guys, just in the door here, and we've sanded it completely back before we actually put on any base coats. We're actually going to use the Rationel base coat itself. We got that, but in the knots have been bleeding, so we're going to seal all the knots. We're going to use a product aptly named knotting, and this just stops the knots from bleeding through. And the varnish top coat, the base coat doesn't stop that. So this is a pale solution which then turns clear. So it's transparent, so it helps to stabilize the resinous timber, and it just stops them bleeding, just stops the resin coming out of the knots, which is a natural process, but we need to hold it back because when we came it was actually bleeding out. So, and on this one there's a lot of knots for some unknown reason. Like, you get different batches of timber from Rationel, and this is just one with a lot of knots in comparison to this one here, and you might only have a couple of knots, and yet these aren't bleeding. So you never know the process that happens, you never know the batch of timber. But we need to get the base coat on this to get it back up towards this, and we also, but before that, we need to do the knotting to seal the knots. So you can see there I've knotted all of them, and not great, missed two down there, three down there. So I've knotted nearly all of them, and you can see the process, and it's just a matter then letting them soak in. Probably give them an hour. It's a little bit cold today, so that's what we'll do. So the door's been sanded completely back, and now we've taken the handle off and we've knotted everything, and they've dried out so the resin won't come through the knots. And then after that we're going to put the base coat on. Rationel's base coat, 3/4 base coat stain, and we're going to try and get a little bit of uniformness. Now the base coat has very little UV protection in it, so you can't really leave it. You need to do a couple of coats on top. Okay, so there's the first stain on. You can still see it's a bit blotchy, so we'll get another couple of base coats on to kind of pull that in. Okay. So started on the base coat, second base coat, and hope you can see the difference between the top. You can see that it's patchy, still kind of patchy and still kind of ununiformed. Then you can see this little strip here, a little bit more uniformed. That glazing bar on the right hand side, underneath it, the bottom rail, and then the bottom of the door. So there's so much diversity in this, I'm going to need to put a good few coats on to protect it, but to also join it in and to get rid of the blotchiness as I do it. So I think the bottom is looking a lot more uniformed, while still allowing a little bit of variety, as all timber has, and which you want, than the blotchiness of the top section. So just wanted to show you a video where I started the process and there was a difference between the bottom and the top. Now this is the second coat on the bottom, and we'll pull in the top as well, and we may need another couple of coats. And once you get the first coat or two on, it's very easy to put another one on. They go on quickly, but the crucial thing is to let them really dry between coats. So your work isn't in putting them on, it's actually in coming back and doing it again, and allowing that time to settle in between. Okay, thanks folks. So here's the whole door done. So this is the second coat, and most likely I'll put a third coat on, maybe in a fourth coat, because I've still got the front to do, so I'm plenty of time to do this right, and it's just a matter of coming. So that's the second coat. I think I think you will agree with me, it's pulled it in an awful lot more, and we'll do another couple of coats in it as well. So it's looking a lot more as part of the family. Sorry for switching view, guys. If I pull it back, you can see that's a lot more akin to the windows up above as well. So here's 3 coats on the door, and you can still see the bottom, and it is darker, but the coat's just on. But there's a lot more uniformness to the actual door than there was. So we're probably only going to put 1 more coat on in terms of stain, and then we'll do a couple of top coats to try and get the same honeycomb color on top of it. Okay, the other option was to paint this, but we decided to go the natural way with it. And once again, if we had sanded back any further, we actually would have been breaking the profile, and you would have had indentations, and it just wasn't doable. Okay, thanks. So we'll let it dry.